Hello, everybody. Today, I just kind of wanted to talk. I've had so many thoughts on my mind, and I figured I should share how I feel about it. One topic or sentence that's been popping up a lot recently is to be seen is to be loved, or to be loved is to be seen. And this year, I also listened to an audiobook about, well, it's called Be Seen. It's scary to be seen. It's scary to let people see you for who you are. And for me, I was always a very sensitive child. And in the sense of, one, was outward about my emotions very loudly. Whether I was happy, sad, excited, mad, I was very out loud. And over time and over conditioning and so how somebody should act socially, like how our social constructs are, that gets dimmed. And then also when you have a history of trauma and abuse happening to you at a young age, you kind of just learn how to survive. And for me, I've talked about it a lot. That came with people pleasing and being whatever it is I need to be in that moment to make sure I was safe, essentially, as a kid. But this leaks into your life as you grow. And now I'm an adult and I'm still catch myself doing those things. It's like, these people aren't going to do anything to me. I am an adult. Things only happen like what you allow people to do, in a sense, to a certain degree. You know what I mean? So now I'm learning how to kind of either unravel, identify these aspects of myself. I have realized, I think the scariest thing about being seen and saying your truth and sharing maybe uncomfortable aspects of yourself, what gets scary is, what if people use it to invalidate you or make you look a certain way, in a certain light, in a certain perspective. And that's one thing I feel like I always feared. But logically, if I'm sharing it, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not. I've worked through this already if I'm going to be sharing it. And if I haven't, like, obviously I know that there could be other people who feel the same exact way. So it's humanizing a situation or a feeling. So there's nothing. So if somebody were to use my perceived weakness against me in any kind of way, but that speaks more volumes about them and not me. But I also came to this conclusion that when the fear of being seen isn't really about being seen, it's about being validated. Because I think that's why TikTok is so amazing, because people are sharing their experiences or making jokes about an experience, and we see ourselves, and that's what makes it so relatable. And that comes with some sort of vulnerability in any shape or form. Validation from others is conditional. Since external validation is conditional when it's coming from others, this would basically imply that if we base all of our worth all of our like decisions and choices based off the validation of others that we may receive. And it fluctuates, which would then our self-worth would be fluctuating as well. So that's where I had to learn that there is a difference between external validation versus internal validation. And I believe that when your internal validation system is non-existent, you're not checking in with yourself and how you feel about things, or why the purpose of what you want to do to be seen, or what you want to say, why you want to speak it and share it, is based off of, well, I think these people will like it, or I think that, you know, I might get a lot of views, and rather than, wow, I'm really proud of like what I have to say because it's important, because I went through XYZ and this is going to help people get through the same situation, or this is a useful tool that has helped me with XYZ. I think the purpose of like sharing is to serve people in whatever way that comes to you. Being of service to people is, I think, what is how you find your purpose. At least that's the path that I'm on. That's how it seems and feels. I might have a visitor if you see him. It's my dog Linky. And if your internal validation system isn't in the works, you have a problem. Your foundation is stuck. Your foundation is cracked, crumbling, barely holding on. And the reason how I came to this is I'm just kind of looking back at where I was even. So we're in 2024, 4 years ago. 2020, obviously, with COVID and things. So I feel like it changed a lot for so many people. For me, like work-wise and like society, I didn't really, that didn't bug me. But the internal energy inside of me, like the things going on within my spirit changed. And that's when things just started clicking. And especially like the possibility of we could all be stuck in the house and they're going to enforce all these laws. Like I got to a point of, I don't want to just live my life and be unhappy with where I am. Because what if the world went into this type of shutdown again? How can I find peace within myself? And so it started my little self-love journey. And it started with the physical things, you know, working out, trying to eat right. But nothing really fell into place once I started working on my perspective in my mind and what my purpose of why I was accomplishing things, and stop looking at things as an outcome or destination, which is really hard. And start just looking and not looking at, oh, this is going to take me 2 years. This is going to take me 6 months. It's going to take me 3 months. Like just doing it and not putting a time limit, and just doing it to my best ability and trying to be better every day. So as that pertains to working out, so that's what I did. And it took me about 2 years to become consistent. And I'm realizing, like, honestly, everything takes so much time, but the time goes by so fast. And especially if you're just focusing on taking it one day at a time, it makes it a little bit easier. When I was super duper depressed, high anxiety, overweight, I did not want to be seen. I didn't even look at myself in the mirror. honestly, like, how sad is that? You don't even want to look at your own self in the mirror. I was embarrassed of myself. I was embarrassed of not only that the lack of care that I put into my appearance, but I, and it's not like I look crazy. Since my, not only just like weight loss journey, it's not even a weight loss journey, it's a healing journey. Like, it just, weight loss was a part of it. Um, After being really depressed, I started trying to do like different workout plans. I hired online coaches. I have another story about that, but let me just say this. You online coaches, not all of them, but I'm gonna say some of them, you don't even ask where people's mindset is. You have me like, you have these people write on a, like, maybe a Google Doc form to kind of, and you have like a 10-minute conversation with them. And because they're willing to pay money, have them do this online, like, I mean, they teach you how to count your macros and stuff like that. But I'm like, I feel like we should dive deep more into people's perspective, like, and mindset, before having them pay for these high, like, these are a high ticket coaching item. And I don't know, I have a little thing about that because of where I was. So I'm really passionate about really getting your mind into the right spot before making big life changes, because that is basically your, like, if you're a compass, that's the arrow. It's letting you know where the fuck we're going, regardless of how fast you're moving, regardless of how much stuff you have, that's the direction you're going. So I feel like that's kind of, your mind is, sets the tone. So I failed at a lot of it. Long story short, I failed, and I spent probably 2-3 grand on these coaches that they tried their best, but I don't think were equipped for where the type of person that I was, and they didn't assess that. And so I guess that's just where, and I was young. I mean, I'm still young, but I was like 19, 20, trying to lose weight. I was in a rough patch. I didn't know how to count macros. Like, I came from being a girl who was super active in high school, ate whatever the fuck she wanted, and was tiny and cute. And then life hits, and I'm depressed, and I don't know how to deal with all the adult responsibilities, as well as keeping my mental health correct. And I was living in a really uncomfortable environment. I had so much going on, and none of that was assessed. And I feel like that's really important, which is why I got into holistic, like, healing modalities, because there has to be more than just these few things. I feel like you do need to look at the whole person, everything. That's so important. But anyways, with that, I was depressed, and now, and I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be looked at. I didn't want to look at myself. And I just got to a point where I'm like, I just can't live like this. And especially it got to a point of, if I don't even want to look myself in the fucking mirror, why would I expect anybody else to love me enough to look at me? And this wasn't a literal, like, physical appearance thing. I really want to emphasize that it wasn't really about my looks. It was how much I had given up on myself. And I was placing, it's okay. It's okay. And I was placing that validation, that external validation I was seeking from others, as a placeholder for my value within myself. And with also some of the trauma and abuse I had been going through, again, making myself, I was manifesting the reality that I was in, because I was in an unhealthy relationship. I was in an unhealthy living environment, and it took a fucking toll on me. I was pushing people away so freaking much. And I know for people who have been in toxic relationships, you know, like you get isolated. So once you're already isolated from your family, even though I was living with them, the you're already isolated from the people that love you and care about you, really. And then if you have all these other things as well, and then my body was I was gaining weight pretty rapidly each year. I like for it, it just, I was just gaining a lot of weight. And it was like a physical manifestation of me pushing people away, is basically what I'm trying to say. So not only was I pushing people away mentally, I had nobody to really talk to, confide in, because of me not allowing people to be there for me. Because I also have had to dismantle different beliefs that I have, which that comes back to that value and validation. I believe, and I just finally figured out what this belief was. I've never believed that anybody values me as much as I value them. I don't believe, like, I hadn't believed that people value me as somebody in their life. That I've always just felt like I'm a side character, someone there. I mean, I'm there when they need it. I'm there, I've always kind of been that rock friend, the friend that's there when they want to trauma dump. And so I found myself in a couple situations where like those friends weren't there for me in the same way, and I've, not to say cut them off, but kept my distance or slowly kind of drift out, talk to them about, like, I just don't feel like we're in the same spot, things like that. I just didn't feel like people have value or cared about me or cared about our relationships in the same way that I do, or hold me in the same esteem that I do. And I didn't start noticing that people do actually care about me until I started caring about myself. And that does start with, like, the self-care. And I mean, like, true self-care, not just putting a face mask on, drinking some wine, and putting on a movie. Like, I feel like that's rest and just re-energizing yourself, or taking a chill pill, like, which is you definitely need. But I mean, like, true self-care where you are taking the time. And if you're somebody who's dealt with depression, anxiety, like, even the little now went from, so that time where I was at my biggest size and I was at my darkest time feeling like shit, I didn't even want to get up to go pee in the middle of the night or in the morning. I was to that point, I didn't even feel like I was valuable enough to go take myself to use the bathroom. Like, and I'm not saying I really thought that at that time, but I'm seeing it through my actions of, like, thinking back. Like, I didn't even value myself to use the fucking bathroom. And I'm still working through that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like holding it and I'm like, why? Go pee. Like, just little things like that. These are just internalized and, like, actions that, or internalized feelings that have become habitual actions. And it's just kind of, sad. So now I have a couple, like, skin routines. I have, like, my full, so I'm an esthetician. And so I have like a full, like 11-step skincare routine. But on days I'm having a tough time and I don't want to do any of it, I have it down to 3 steps, which is double cleanse, moisturize. Get, clean off the day. But learning to even get to that point where I have different types of routines and that I'm able to assess my mental health and give myself and do it within the energy that I have for the day is changed. But it only comes with discipline. And then the craziest part about learning discipline is doing it every day. That's the thing, you have to do it every day. So with taking care of myself, such as, so this is me valuing myself, is, taking care of my basic, hygienic needs. And that spawned into now. Not only do I, when I take a shower, I'm going to put on lotion. I have a cute body oil that I'm going to put on. I'm also going to do my lymphatic drainage, and I'm going to dry brush before the shower. And it adds on as these, you do them more often, and then you can create more routines because the effort is minimal because now it's a habit. It's just unconscious. You don't have to think about it. This is where you start to, or where I was starting to build evidence of the value that I put into myself. Me taking the time to have all these skin products and actually put them on every morning and night. Me taking the time, like I think 5 steps, just oral health routine. Now I have energy. Like, or if I wake up really early, I'm gonna get my clothes ready for the next day. I'm gonna pack my lunches. I'm taking all these steps to really take care of myself and value my time. So now that I'm valuing myself, it's showing others how to treat me and value me. And so your external validation is a reflection of your internal validation. So if you're too scared to be seen, if you are valuing yourself and you're showing up and you know you got yourself at the end of the day because you have shown proof and you have evidence to recollect the dedication you have given to yourself, then now the fear of being seen is just in that moment of being seen. And once you continue to allow yourself to be seen, it's going to get easier, just like with everything else. But I think that, or at least I believe that it does take finding your footing and patterns and what works for you before you go all out sometimes. And I feel like that's me. I feel like in this world, we're so fast paced and I just get overwhelmed with trying to keep up with everything and everyone. And every time I've tried to keep up with the pace everyone else is going, at least so it seems, that's when I end up in these places that I'm unhappy, like a shitty job, weird schools, spending money on things that I don't need. Like, so it's okay to take your time. It's okay to go at your own pace, whether that's healing, whether that's learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to honor yourself. And then how I kind of started honoring and validating myself was just having some core beliefs. And within these core beliefs, or core beliefs and some non-negotiables to help with my discipline. And keeping promises to myself. So when I started being the person that I wanted to myself, so like when I wanted people to show up for me, I wanted somebody like, or I want my partner to, make me breakfast, or like the things that I want out of people, or like I want my mom to ask me how my day is, or like regardless of what it is within my life, like I started, well, how can I give that to myself, and started doing that. So then I'm not expecting it of others, and then obviously it's appreciated and obviously it's valued when those things are given, but I'm not searching from it within others because I'm giving it to myself. But I feel like going slow in this process is like slow and steady wins the race, because sometimes it gets to me because with healing and like other people I know are starting families or they're out partying, and sometimes I feel like I'm missing out, and but I know that's not my journey, that's their journey. I gotta heal all the other things that I had going on before I move on to the next part of this life journey. The value, the time, the energy that you put into yourself gives you evidence of the person that you are, at least now that you're working on. And the more that you affirm these beliefs, you are going to create even more evidence. And if you have all this evidence, it is inherently going to give you self-confidence. It's going to give you the value because you value yourself. And it's also going to give you peace and a sense of safety because now you have trust within yourself. And so I know this was basically to be seen is to be loved. I just kind of wanted to bring this back to ourselves. That was the point of all of this, was that if you want to be seen, you need to see yourself first. First, make that uncomfortable decision to look at yourself in the mirror. Just like I was too scared to look at my own self because for fear of how far down I had gotten. I didn't even want to see who it was that, like, why did I let this happen to myself? Or why did I forget myself for so long? I wholeheartedly forgive myself, and it got me to a place where I learned the value of hard work and learned my capabilities, and I learned who it is that I really want to be, and I'm still learning every single freaking day. So if you want to be seen, see yourself. See what it is about you that you love. See what it is about you that you have to offer to the world, and see what it is that you have to offer to yourself before anybody else. And don't give up on yourself. If you've got to a point where you've given up on yourself, say you're sorry, and we're going to try again. Today's a new day. If you got up today, there's a reason you have another chance. Every day is another chance to be exactly who it is that you want to be. So, not to be morbid, but I think about this, like if I were to die today right now, did I do things? Did I work towards what it is, the life that I want? Because at least if I'm working towards it, how can I live with regrets? Because I was living in not only my alignment, but in walking towards my purpose or in my purpose, wherever that may be to you. And if you did have a day where you just need to rest, you were honoring your body, and that's okay. I think this world needs a lot more self-reflection, because I feel like we're told that, oh, it's selfish. Like, we really need to listen to our bodies, connect to ourselves, so that way we can understand the world around us. Thank you so much for watching and listening if you made it this far. I hope that anything that I said sparked anything in you. If you have anything that you would like to share with me down below in the comments, please do so, and give this video a like or a share. I'm still trying to figure out how to fix my podcast so I can post these on there. I might have to switch platforms, so I'm going to be working on that. And, but yeah, I love anybody who takes the time out to listen, and I appreciate any feedback and any of your thoughts. So, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next one.